I'm on a roll with these GMC Sierras. This is a 2016, and customer complaint is in the mornings it will not crank. No crank, no start. And I kind of looked at it yesterday. It was starting, running. I told him, like, hey, you got to bring it to me, stuff. This morning, it is a no crank. And I haven't tried it yet, but the customer is very observant, and he gave me some key info that's very helpful. And what he said is he knows it won't crank when he turns the key on and the prindle is not lit up red. So that's good information. Okay, so here's the pre-scan that I had yesterday when everything was working. So as you can see, we've got some transmission codes that are in the ECM, especially this lost comm with TCM. We also are showing a lost comm with EBCM and BCM, which TCM is lost comm with EBCM and body control module. So we've actually got kind of like a ECM TCM saying that they can't talk to the rest of the vehicle. And here's the HMI, can't talk to the ECM and TCM. So let's turn this thing on, and see, we've still got no prindle. Steering assist is reduced. Service stability track, trailer brake. The trailer brake thing keeps acting up because I don't know if I could ever get this in here good enough, but somebody stuck a coin in there, so the trailer brake's messed up. But let's go back over here to our scan tool and see, we got 12 volts. Let's see if we can auto ID this thing. Not looking good. An error occurred. All right. So, scan tool cannot talk to the ECM right now. So let's unplug the scan tool. Let's actually do our DLC on check to see if we've got a complete CAN bus circuit. If we read 60 ohms, that means our CAN bus circuits to the ECM is good, because the ECM is a terminating resistor for the circuit on this vehicle. If it's good, then we're definitely going after powers and grounds, because that's the only other thing it could be. If the wires, like if the scan tool is talking to other things, but yet not the ECM TCM on the CAN bus, and our CAN bus reads 60 ohms, that's going to mean that TCM and ECM is just not powered up. And we'll go, this has got the VIN in it because I had it activated from yesterday. But we'll go and just do like a code scan real fast. See what modules are actually talking. Oh wow, that's cool. So we do have ECM. We have TCM. So this is getting interesting. So maybe the issue is the ECM TCM side of the DLC can't talk to the other side of the DLC. I don't see a body control module in here. So this is kind of interesting. Did I have data or display codes? No comm. Look, no comm to the body control module. Okay, so now that's quite interesting. Here we are thinking we had a ECM TCM problem. We don't. We've got body control side problem. Let me get a wiring diagram pulled up and printed out, and I'll go over it with you and kind of tell you what I mean. As you can see right here's our DLC, and it's tapped into the lines that run through the junction box in the floor, the transfer case, back through the junction box to the TCM. They call it a control solenoid valve assembly, but this is a TCM built in the transmission. Then the ECM. So what I'm thinking now is from here to our body control module, here we've got a break of some sort. So to kind of show you why I think that, see right here we've got 60 ohms. I'm on the chassis bus, CAN bus. So that is 12 and 13. It's a chassis bus used for trailer brakes, stuff like that. But it's a CAN bus system, so it's 60 ohms. If we go over to our pin 6 and 14, right here, 150 ohms. So that tells me 100% that the two terminating resistors are not connected. So GM shows you that the ECM has a 120 ohm one here, and then on the opposite end of the truck, after the chassis module, there's a resistor pack on the frame rail, and that's the other 120. So we know from the scan tool, we actually can talk to these two. We cannot talk to this stuff. So let me hook the scan tool back up, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. That none of this we can talk to, or maybe some of it we can. Maybe we can talk to like the HMI or the Telematics module. We could, if this thing was four-wheel drive, we could try the transfer case, but it's a two-wheel drive truck. So this is actually just being looped right here. So let's see if we can talk to anything else over here. I don't think we can. Okay, so from the DLC, our next module would be the Telematics, and got the key on. Let's go into the Telematics. See if we can see any data. It's kind of looking like we can. Okay, so we can talk to the Telematics. So next on the list is the HMI. There's HMI. Let's go data. Okay, so we got no comm to the HMI. So from the Telematics to the HMI, we have no comm. And let's just see if the next in line would be the body control, which we already seen we couldn't talk to it, and then the power steering. Where's power steering? Power steering. I'm pretty positive we're not going to talk to it either. No comm. Okay. So we need to check from the Telematics to the HMI. Do we have data getting here? Okay, so we're at the HMI module. As you can see, our colors are dark blue and white. And we got pin 11, 12, 13, and 14. So 11 and 12 is coming from the Telematics and then through. And it doesn't really matter if we're on 11 or 12 or 13, 14, because they're actually connected inside. This goes straight through, and then the module is tapped into the line. So right up under here, if I can get you in there, There you go. There's our white and blue, and got channel 1 on the blue, channel 2 on the white, and we got key off, and we see some bias voltage, which is okay. Let's turn the key on. Oh boy, look at that signal. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is an open in the wire, in one wire. And since we're going from 2.5 to 1.5, I'm thinking that open is the channel 1, which is high side. And this right here is probably the HMI trying to talk and given that. So how do I know this is an open? Well, you got to think, if we're looking at the diagram and we've got 6 and 14 coming in right here, if we've got an open, say, through here somewhere, well, all the information is still going through here, through the resistor, and back around to here. So we would have essentially the same signal on both wires, and that's pretty much what we have. We've got the same signal on both wires, except for when the HMI tries to talk. And that's what all this right here is. I'm pretty sure. Could be maybe some of these other modules on here trying to talk, but for the most part, when those signals are matching, that's a dead giveaway. There is a break in one of the wires. So now we know the HMI is only getting signal from one of the wires. So I'm going to go kind of backwards a little bit. I'm going to go to the Telematics module, which of the two modules, that's probably where I should have started because that's the last one that talked, but it's behind here. So it's not as easy to get to as just taking the glove box out. Okay, here's the Telematics module. This is the radio module. Okay, and on our Telematics, we can see X1 pins 10 and 12 is our CAN bus coming in, and the X2 pin 3 and 4 is our CAN bus going out. So we already know we can't talk to the HMI, and we can talk to the telematics. So let's check pins 3 and 4 and see if we've got good connection coming out of them. So we're wanting to check the output side, and I'm trying to not move stuff too much. Okay, look at that. We've got our bad signal there. Let's see, what about on this side? Trying to get, okay, see, pin 2 and 1 match there. I'm on the blue wire. Okay. Let's see, go back in here because it's kind of coming and going a little bit. If I can get my, okay. So this is measuring the in and out on the blue wire. And as you can see, they're both perfectly matching. Oh, there was a break. So right now they're matching perfectly. Look at that. So I'm just kind of wiggling the harness right here. Let's see how we get this drop out. There we go. Ooh, yeah. So are we just dealing with maybe a terminal issue? Like I can hear things clicking and stuff as this is getting messed with. Alright, before we get this all the way out, we're going to just go through and use our terminals and test pin tension on these. So basically we're just looking for it to fit in nice and snug and have a good drag coming out. Both of these feel good. Now there was one time on the scope that I was on the input side and it kind of glitched out. So we'll check these two. Let's see. They are. That one feels good. Uh-oh. That one is not good. So there's one kind of test. If you're unsure about pin tension, if you can stick it in there, get it turned upside down and give it a wiggle, and it stays, almost always it's fine. You get in a bad one, you turn it upside down, and it falls out, that's definitely a bad one. Get back in there. There we go. We got a loose terminal here. So let's pull this terminal out and retension that thing. Try to get these wires situated where I could pull that thing a little easier. The trick, a lot of times, getting these things out easier is to actually push them up in the connector and then try to feel for the little tab. And once you feel it kind of pull backwards, like out of it, then you can kind of start to slide it out. So, let's see. Can we figure out a way to retension this thing? It almost looks like the tension bar is just here in the top. So just get a little poke, push. Yeah, take a terminal. There we go. It's a little there. It's a little loose still, but it's better. Let's try a little stick pick. Ideally, I'd say this one probably replace the terminal. You can get terminals from GM. There we go. There we go. I'm good with that. I'm happy with that. So yeah, if you have one that you're having a hard time with, most of the time you can get terminals. And I'll show you on service information how to find that. But there we go. Just plug all these back in. I've got a got my park indicator, giving a wiggle like I was, and that seems to be working just fine. So I'm basically doing the same as I was before, and my park indicator is still staying there. So there you have it. I believe that's a fix. I'll put this all back together, but I'm going to show you how to find these terminals real fast. Okay, on all data, you'll go to diagrams, and then connector views. vehicle systems, component connector end views, and pretty much anything's going to have these connector views for GM, any service information. So we're going to go find the Telematics module right here. So we was on this X1. So you see this connector view. What you're looking for is this little chart, terminal part information. So what it's going to tell you is like if these had different types of terminals, they would be identified down here in the terminal ID chart. So these are all ID 1s from this chart here. So you see right here a terminated lead. Here's a part number. This is good in any GM part dealership. You can go in, give them this number right here, and they'll be able to order this. It'll be a terminal with a pigtail lead on it. I think you'll have to probably buy a pack of 5. Most of them come in a pack of 5. So it does get a little expensive, but you can save them. And sometimes they might have one in stock, like a pack of 5 they've ordered for something. There is also service terminals. Most dealerships do have service terminal trays, and it'll tell them the trade number and then also what crimps to use. But this is what most people will probably use, because this you could just solder the wire together. Alright, moment of truth. I'd call that a fix.